Hello everyone, Operator Starsky here. Guys, my Starlink sucks very much these days. That's why we may probably expect some issues, so please don't worry. It's a normal thing here in Ukraine. No idea why it happens, and it started happening exactly after that um announcement made by Elon Musk. Uh, but anyways, I remember that my connection was better back in the days when we had like massive blackouts and multiple missile strikes and stuff like that. Uh, anyways, we have a bunch of updates as always, and let's check them first. So today we are celebrating 150,000 toasted orcs, and in case some people feel sad about those young and healthy and not so young and not so healthy Russian invaders that went to the other side, I think that those people should visit Bucha. They really do. So we're celebrating, and of course 150,000 orcs that were toasted means that as much as 2 times of that, meaning 300,000 maybe more, will go to the other side eventually because they were wounded. And also we know that the number of Russian losses in Ukraine became the highest in the post World War II period combined, and it's only beginning because the Ukrainian assault brigades, including my brigade, are finishing training their personnel that will be performing that massive upcoming Ukrainian counterattack that will liberate orc-occupied territories and make a lot of their mothers very sad, but it was their very own choice. Stronghold Bakhmut, meantime, is still standing, and there were a lot of panicking messages, like reports full of like panic and hysteria here and there. The only people who can access to the operative information are people on the level of at least a company commander in Bakhmut. What we have here is only two strings. What two strings? Dina, can you tell us more about it? So yeah, currently we can only judge about situation in Bakhmut from the deep state map and from like social media and experts that usually don't know anything at all. So let's calm down, and in my opinion, the only trustworthy source of information at this point is the reports made by the guys on the ground, like Madhyar, Brandon, and my guys, who basically say that the situation is hard, but there's no reason to panic. And my hoodie. I see. Yeah. So situation in Bakhmut, and let's take a look at Bakhmut here because we can. Yeah, doesn't look optimistic at all, but guys, this road here, this road was supposed to be taken by Russians like months ago. Okay, they attempted numerous attacks on this road, on this highway, that failed, and they keep failing. And we have to understand the situation. Russians currently don't have enough vehicles to to support their troops, and whenever they throw all those hordes of cannon fodder into attacks, every single time we are deflecting those attacks. They don't move as fast as they expect, and we all gotta calm down, guys. Trust me, nothing bad will happen there. Will it stand? Yes, it will. The only reason we can leave this place, the only reason, and it's judging from our experience in places like Mariupol or Rubizhne or Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, is basically when those places are completely destroyed. That's all. That's what Russians can do. And Bakhmut is comparably big town. It will take a while to destroy it. It's kind of big, okay? It's a big town. It's not the size of Mariupol, however, close to that, I would say. So that's the situation. Let's calm down and keep our faith. Okay. So what's next? Returning to the topic of Bucha, by the way, Mr. Karim Khan, he's the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court in Hague. So Mr. Karim Khan said that he received plenty of evidence regarding the war crimes and atrocities permitted by Russians, and he received plenty of evidence from Ukrainians and zero from Russians. And personally, I bet that we will never see those. And by the way, this raises a very, very interesting topic. Okay, because if Ukraine was dumping bombas for 8 years and performing those that incredible genocide that Russians and Russian minions on the West like to talk about, so if they did all that, why they never issued any sort of inquiry or lawsuits to the international institutions like the International Criminal Court? How do you think? And the answer is very, very simple. It's because criminal court only takes into account things that actually happened. Okay? The other day I had a discussion with some unknown, anonymous pro-Russian bot from, I believe, from Hungary. And she was screaming. She was like, but Ukrainians killed so many people in Donbass, and you gotta read the report of the and she named some economic development program. I was like, what do they have, like in like that economic development program? What are you even talking about? And then she said, no, I meant like OSCE and yada yada. And first of all, of course, she didn't read that report. Again, 3,000 people civilian people died on both sides in Donbass, on Ukrainian-controlled and Russian-controlled territory. Like, nobody reads this part of the report, actually. And why did I start talking about it? Yeah, so in the end, I asked, she said, like, the International Criminal Court I asked, like, can you show me a word genocide in the report of the OSCE? And she said, only International Criminal Court should decide what is genocide and what is not. So when I asked her to show me some kind of definition made by the International Criminal Court, appeared that there's none, and there will never be, because Russians created a lot of myths that cannot be proved, like with MH17. So it's kind of funny. Whenever they talk about, like, it's like it happened. They killed a lot of men, but they never have proofs, like zero. And those proofs that they have, they cannot be used in the criminal court, because it cannot survive any kind of criticism at all. Where was this Hungarian maid? Nelly, it's like she was like, she switched after that to the topic of Nazi, and she was saying, like, you praise Bandera and things like that, which was kind of interesting to hear from a person whose grandparents obviously were marching with, like, swastikas, you know, and invaded Ukraine back in the days. Anyways, I just blocked those people. Were you JC the Music Man, were you at the Euromaidan protest? Can you speak about how the government improved after this? So yes, I was at the Euromaidan protest, and the very easy way to explain how Ukrainian government improved was that we actually democratically elected it. We were finally able to democratically elect our government and our president. Okay, here we have Mercado Media. Hi, buddy. Hello. You should talk with Georgia from Ukraine Matters. Yeah, it's like, Martin, we don't plan that. Ivan Hashina, here's my buddy from one of the kick-ass assault brigades of the National Guard. Okay, so let's return to the topic, guys. I will answer all the questions later. We have some update from Zaporizhia here. So during the latest missile strike in Zaporizhia, Russians hit a residential building. Several floors collapsed, and the rescuers are still searching for people. But despite the tragedy, we have some good news from this area. This girl spent 5 hours under the debris before being found, and she was found by rescuers. She's alive, and we can celebrate that. Her name is Katya Melnik. Yeah, it's like a miracle. 5 hours in a freezing cold under debris. It's oh my god, it's so incredible. Viktor Sobolev. This one was funny actually, because Viktor Sobolev, member of the Russian Security Council. Wait a minute, it's a wrong picture. Yeah, so Viktor Sobolev, member of the Russian Security Council, called to stop the special suicidal operation in Ukraine and declare war against Ukraine. So the question is, what should we expect now? Like a full-scale invasion? Oh my god. I checked here in Ukraine and found that 0 dams were given about it. Oh, Jesus. Let's talk about the bot farms, because recently they went nuts all over the internet, and I can see the increased activity in Russian bots here and there, in my media, in my friends' media, things like that. Like, what happens? Like, they went completely insane. So in order to understand this, we have to understand the story behind Bakhmut. Why Russians attack Bakhmut like with all they can, like so fiercely. I will have a cigarette if you don't mind. Don't smoke, kids, it's bad for your health. So let's return to the Ukrainian counteroffensive in Kherson that scared the heck out of Russian higher command. And because this counterattack was so successful, and because we had this like motivation, hype, this inspiration, because we were so inspired by this counterattack in Kherson, Russians were very, very scared. And that's why they started pushing their troops towards Bakhmut in order to stretch our forces, in order to distract forces from Kherson, forces that could be used to liberate other cities like Mariupol. They decided to stretch those troops. That's why they're pushing everything they can towards Bakhmut. Smoking cigarettes goes well with beer and war. Captain, I can confirm this. We remember that Prigozhin promised Putler that he will capture that he will capture the Bakhmut for him, and basically Putin was planning to declare Ukrainian capitulation this February, basically this February, which didn't happen, which will never happen, and we know that they lost thousands and thousands of those convicts. We know that they lost a lot of their mobilized men. Recently, I read news that Russian mobilized men that were crying publicly because they were told that there will be sent to the attack without training. They got sent into attack without training. Like, it was the funniest news that the funniest update that I have read this morning. Karen, I have enough food. Don't worry. What do we have now? Currently, Russians spent months just dying near Bakhmut in that direction, and they have zero achievement in that area. They lost one of the biggest tank combats in Vuhledar, and obviously they understand that they need to use their informational warfare, because they're also losing on that front. And yeah, currently they're using their influencers and opinion makers on the West. We saw that Rage Against Ukraine rally, and one of the recent events that made Putin so angry was that attack on A-50, Russian reconnaissance aircraft in Machulishi, Belarus. So they realized that they need to change something. They realized that, Mercado says 72nd Brigade is getting some. Those guys are badass. I remember us fighting together for Irpin and this area where I live right now. They're badass. So the most recent stuff they came up with was that bus shooting. And again, like, the opinions divided, because the teacher said that there are no school buses because their kids are studying remotely at this point. But it's a good old strategy used by Putler since 90s, basically, which is kill your own people and blame others. So that's it. That's the story. And Russians, because they lost so many bot farms, specifically here in Ukraine, because it's easier to use them here in Ukraine, for obvious reasons. They needed to create more. Did you see the 10,000 people protesting the war in Germany? Guys, there were no 10,000 people. Believe me, I was a participant during the Revolution of Dignity in Kiev. That was not a protest. You could not even call it a crowd, and let alone the Rage Against Ukraine rally. Okay, I've seen some protests. Those were not protests, believe me. One thing that I will never forget about the protest during the Revolution of Dignity was like several million people who went to see the concert of Okean Elzy. Wait a second. And just so you could understand, all the people who came to the concert. Oh, here is a. Oh, no, that's. Show me at least one picture, you. There's actually a video, you can find it online. So all the people who came to the protest and lit their flashlights, that on the picture, that's like 10% of all the people who were there, all the protesters, because there is a footage from a drone who went up and made a video of all the people, and it looked like, stars in the sky. There were so many of them. There were like millions. That is a protest. That miserable crowd of people that we saw in Washington or in Germany, like it wasn't a protest, believe me. That's just, as many people as Kremlin can basically organize because they have money. Oh, and before we move to the questions and answers, I have a small trivia for you guys. So you're gonna love this. So this is Captain Timur Rudov. He's a skipper. This is Denis Davidov. He's a pilot. And this is me. He's a National Guardsman. What do they have in common? And it's some very, very specific thing. Basically, I already told you the answer. Yeah, so it's like a small trivia for you guys. YouTube? No, not YouTube. Not YouTube. It's a different thing. Basically YouTube, but yeah, but it's a different thing. Danny DeVito is a pilot. Denis Davidov. Ukrainians, flight simulator, not really. YouTubers. So, Killer Rabbit of Killer Rabbit basically knows the correct answer. Yeah, Jack I bust. You are right. Martin Marchetta. Yeah, we're all captains now. So that's the news. Yeah, I'm not a lieutenant anymore. Not sure if I should celebrate or cry, but this is life. Dudes versus Woods, all great navigators. You know what they say about like a lieutenant with a map. I'm not a great navigator. I shouldn't be. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Yeah, I got promoted because usually takes couple of years, but because we have war in Ukraine and yada yada, this is what I got. Captain, holy shit, like I never imagined myself being a captain. However, it sounds cool. All right. Okay. Let's answer some questions. Captains get a government car. They can get a government BTR actually. However, captains might really get government armored vehicle. Sergeants are more badass. They can get BTRs. I miss my BTR. Arne, do you play the trumpet? Actually, no, because for some reason it's the only instrument that I cannot play. I cannot play most of instruments actually. I mean, I can, but I suck at playing them. But oh my god, I promised I promised to show you one video, but I completely forgot about it because I'm so old. Thank you, Coez. Yeah, how could I miss this? So I want to show you some really scary video, and you better make sure that your kids are not watching this, because this will give them nightmares, and you too. So the Belarusian Spetsnaz published a new video showing their training and their combat skills, and those guys are they're monsters. They are monsters. It's kind of people you don't want to mess with, because they will use anything to kill you, anything they can grab. Like, and if they cannot kill you with bullets, they will kill you with laughter, 100%. So here is this video. Where is it? Where is it? Aha, here. So they are showing their crazy skills. And by the way, I did not I did not increase the speed of this video. This is the way they published it, for some unknown reason. If you want to make something look very, very funny, you gotta increase the speed of the video. And oh my god, what are they? Oh, and now there's this magic starts. So they start kicking each other and throwing each other and punching, and oh my god. And then they start playing with fire, and basically it's a very dangerous thing, because considering the amount of spirits inside of those Spetsnaz soldiers, any contact with the flame could be deadly. So they have some guts doing this. There goes the stone. Every time they show something, there goes the stone, the brick or something like that, the concrete stuff. Yeah, and bomb, and it exploded and stuff. And there this is like RDL. Oh, they are building the pyramid, guys. They are building the pyramid, and the their human pyramid. Why it's so hilarious? It's because when they build a human pyramid, they can observe stuff. They can see stuff from, at a distance, and they can coordinate artillery probably, or something like that. And then they're running away into the woods where they belong. So you can train dogs to do the same. Tom, I think if you train dogs, they will be even more successful doing such things. Actually, I believe this. Why the bat? It's because they are big fans of Batman. This is why they have bat. And if they say that bat is a symbol of like military intelligence or reconnaissance, whatever, don't trust them. It's because they are actually Batman's little minions. That's why they have bats like all over the place. Think I have seen this set to music. Yeah. I think that some brutal metal fits this video well. Some grindcore probably. Yeah. So that's a Belarusian Spetsnaz. Guys, don't mess with Belarusian Spetsnaz. Of course, in most cases, you will not see Belarusian Spetsnaz at all. Tilumbus, how do you say captain in Ukrainian? It's kapitan. Just that. Belarusia Got Talent. Yeah, so they can become successful. Actually, they gotta bring those Spetsnaz people to Belarusia Got Talent, and they will win all awards. Like they can even build human pyramids, guys. Did you ever build human pyramids? It's a very, very hard stuff. It's crazy. Murray Duncan. I think that they want to. I don't know. They want to have some kind of rivalry against Kadyrovites in terms of TikToks. Democracy or death? Glory to Ukraine from Russia. Hello, my friend. Glory to democratic Russia. And what are Russians doing in the Black Sea? So, team, we have information that they concentrated large amount of vessels, specifically missile-carrying vessels that carry cruise missiles like Caliber. And they have around 30 of those, maybe more. All right. Do you think we can win this war? I am sure we can, and basically this is what we do. Because if you take a look at the map, early in this invasion and the map now, Russia lost more territories that they managed to capture. So currently we can talk about a big strategic counterattack. Ma Rose, the human pyramid is the orc version of a drone. I didn't think about it. But can be. Oh, V, hello from Croatia. Hello. Nice to see you. What weapon system is at the top of your wish list? Christopher, we're talking about combined arms, combined troops, and it's very hard to answer because we need them all at the same time, simultaneously. Why I don't pronounce S? it's the first thing. Regarding teeth, everything is fine. I'm visiting this torturer like every 2 days, and I'm only in the beginning of this road. But everything will be okay. Astral, love hearing about Russians fighting back against Putin. I think it's beautiful. It's absolutely awesome, and we should support them with everything we can. Russia increased air defense around Moscow. Does Putin think he will be attacked? Supporting Ukraine from the UK. Thank you so much, Dennis. I think, yeah, he's afraid that he will be attacked because previously they knew that they can just shoot anything they have at Ukraine, at civilians, at our cities, and without any sort of retaliation. But now they see that they were wrong, and Ukraine has some weapons that could get them even there. That A-50, that reconnaissance airplane, when I saw that video that they posted like yesterday or 2 days ago showing that airplane, I knew 100% that it was destroyed. Because if this airplane was okay, they would never publish that video. So, like, this is the best proof that it was destroyed and they cannot use it anymore. They were so angry and so mad that they needed to spend their efforts to find a video or make a video and publish it and disseminate it. So it's like We know that it's true, even though I had my doubts, but it's true. Hello from Rocket City, Alabama. Hello, hello. Mike, Bakhmut update and your thoughts would be welcomed. Mike, Bakhmut situation is in Bakhmut is under control, even though it's harder than it. I can honestly say that it's harder than it was 2 weeks ago, but currently is under control. They will not take the town in the nearest month or two. A-50 is that Russian AWACS, that reconnaissance airplane made in the 60s or in the 60s basically. Are there really heights to the north of the city? If you're talking about Bakhmut, yeah, there's a higher ground. Martin, is quite easy. Just turn whatever Russians say upside down, and that is the truth. Yeah, I completely agree on that. This is how I learned that Ukraine was gonna be attacked when they started saying that we were not gonna attack Ukraine. Like 2 days, and we all remember that 2 days prior to the invasion, Lavrov was saying, stop this hysteria, Russia is not going to invade anybody. And then when they invaded, Lavrov, I think in his interview to the BBC journalist, he said, we didn't invade anybody. So it's like canceling the reality and turning things upside down. It's a common thing in Russian media and in Russian propaganda in total. Who decide who is going to front or other missions? Basically, commanders do. The situation in Vuhledar. Currently, situation in Vuhledar is under control. Russians lost a lot of their tanks there. They attempted to perform some badass offensive towards Vuhledar, and they lost all of their armor in that area. They have a small progress near Liman in that direction, but it's miserable to call it a progress. New adventures of the Cotton Cutie. Oh, so recently there was a big fire. How does this Russian to upset Russian city? No idea why it's called this way, but one fire was there. Another one, I believe it was in Moscow. There was a crazy Cotton Cuties adventure in one of the Russian airfields where they tested a new IL-76. It's like, new T-34 tank. Anyways, they tested the pressurization system in the upgraded, modernized version of the IL-76, and because Cotton Cutie decided to spoil their party, the airframe got ruptured and exploded, and some of orcs went to the other side as a result of that. But what I saw in this as a result of this event was that their aviation is degrading so bad because they were so dependent on the Western airplanes, Airbus and Boeings. Their Sukhoi Superjet failed big time. I remember I read like about that test flight when they invited a bunch of journalists, and journalists were scared to fly on board of Sukhoi Superjet because there were like holes in the airframe, and they were so scared. But they managed to land. But again, doesn't change anything. Have you heard China gave Russia their access to satellite images? Actually, I've heard about it. There were some evidence published by the White House. China, well, there are rumors actually that China wants a piece of the Russian land. And again, like there's a bunch of rumors that we cannot prove or disprove them supporting Russians with lethal weapons and stuff like that or not. But it will, even if they are supporting Russians, it will not change much. Again, the risks are so big, you know. But what's funny is like reading about this genius peace plan proposed by Chinese, and at the same time them supporting Russian terrorists with stuff. Doesn't sound like a peace to me. Emir Khan, what do you think about Bryansk thing? I think I think that Bryansk People's Republic deserves a better capital city. Frank, why did President Zelensky fire General Moskalyov? I wish I knew that. Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with General Moskalyov to tell you the details. The Russian Federation will fall. We have no doubt about it. I think a lot of Russians also don't have any doubt about it. Earl Smith, what are your thoughts on possible strikes on Russian motherland? They are not possible, they are mandatory, so to say. Surfer Death. Ти нарешті побачив Мир на 21. Unfortunately, I didn't. I didn't have this opportunity yet. I didn't have much time for watching movies at all because we received in February we received 50 freaking interview requests about Hostomel, and tomorrow we'll have another one. So and after that I have to do my duties and visit the torturer that is called dentist for some reason. When do you think the Western tanks will be operational on the front line? I anticipate to see them probably in a couple of weeks. Judging from the fact that training of the personnel takes around 40 days, probably in a couple of weeks. So the counterattack plan counterattack announcement that was made by our government and our president, according to this announcement, we should expect to start it this spring, actually. So the next 3 months will be decisive for this war. Have you heard about Brandon? Actually, we talked today. He said that he loves me, but he loves Fudge more. But of course, Fudge only loves people who give him treats, and because I have more treats, Fudge loves me more than Brandon. Is it true that Kadyrov is sick? He doesn't look healthy. That's what I can say. How long is the wet season in Ukraine? Andrew, it's very hard to answer this question because of the climate change. Our months, they kind of shifted forwards. We can totally expect it's March, right? We can totally expect that March will be completely wet and snowy, and then a part of April will be the same. And in September we will still have like plus 30 Celsius outside. Commander 401, hello buddy. Tim Farrell, nice to see you. Do you know anything about recent Saudi visit to Kiev? From what we know, and actually like we don't know much details about this visit, but we know that Saudi Arabia expressed their support to Ukraine, and I think Saudi Arabia became one of the first countries in that region that actually supports Ukraine publicly, openly. Oh, I forgot to tell you one more thing, and it's very, very important, guys. Let me just find the... I had it somewhere here. Okay, my dad said that this stream is very boring, that's why he went to sleep. Yeah, so in the European Parliament, a new committee for countering Russian influence was created, and it's a great update for all of us because Europeans and actually people around the world, they finally start realizing that Russians exploit freedom of speech, Russians exploit democracy. At the same time, Russians don't respect neither freedom of speech nor democracy. So they're using propaganda and informational warfare and all of their influence abroad. And we in the civilized world, we have to counter it somehow. So here we have a message from Lithuanian politician, member of the European Parliament, Rasa Juknevičienė. So she said this hybrid war started not when Russia started the war in Ukraine. They did a lot of things prior to that, things that we called Putinization of the continent. And we're talking not only about Moldova, not only about the bordering countries, the neighboring countries. We can see the similar in Germany as well. In the European Parliament, we created specific committee for investigating and studying the influence of Russia inside of the European Union, the influence on the political processes. We found evidence of this, and we have to study this. I think it's a great initiative. It's a great initiative because we had to do this years ago, actually. Here in Ukraine and abroad, we had to do this years ago because Russian propaganda is their main weapon that they're using. Czy możesz nam powiedzieć, co teraz dzieje się z bohaterami, z batalionem Azov? The question regarding Azov. So I know that they are forming an assault brigade. So some of those people, I can be wrong, but I knew that some of their soldiers joined the armed forces of Ukraine. Again, I can be wrong regarding this because officially I know that Azov battalion is currently it's not a battalion, basically it was a regiment, but currently he will be among those assault brigades that are being created in the National Guard of Ukraine to eliminate Russian troops, eliminate Russian personnel. Have you ever been on the front line? I've been to the front line since early 2015. I had numerous deployments, and basically because I drank a lot of Donbass water, I lost a lot of teeth. Your Polish is very good. Dziękuję. Not very good because I have to practice more. When you stop practicing, you forget everything you knew. What is your favorite movie and language? I recalled one funny thing. It was like when I made that video dedicated to David Smith, and people were joking because of my English, like his followers, they were making fun of me because of my English. But the fact is, unlike them, I know foreign languages. That's why I was the one laughing. So, what is your favorite movie? Any language or genre? I like horrors when I have time to watch them. Guys, I'm not the hero of Hostomel. Please don't call me hero. I did what I had to do. My guys are heroes, and those that fought in Hostomel and then moved to the east and continue fighting, those are true heroes. I'm just a talking head. That's all. Does Ukraine have the means to deflect attacks from the Black Sea? So if you're talking about the cruise missiles, we have anti-air systems for that. But of course we need more. Because Ukraine is a big country, okay? And let me show you this. Ukraine is a big country. It's second biggest country in Europe, and we have major cities like Lviv, like Kiev, Zhytomyr, Khmelnytsky, Mykolaiv, Odessa, Kharkiv, Chernihiv, and those cities, they control the regions of Ukraine, the oblasts of Ukraine. Okay, Kiev controls the Kiev Oblast, Zhytomyr controls roughly Zhytomyr Oblast, and things like that. And we have many of those. We have Zaporizhia, we have Dnipro, we have Poltava, Kharkiv is a very big oblast, and things like that. So there are 25, including the occupied regions, those that are occupied by Russians. We have 25 major cities. We have 25 oblasts, regions in Ukraine. And this means that we should at least have 25 modern anti-air systems in Ukraine. That's why when our allies send us 2, 3, 1 anti-air system, that's why in most cases it's not enough to cover, to protect our major cities, because we need much more than that. And yes, it is. It's like counties, basically. It's like states or provinces. And each state, each province consists of smaller, even smaller regions, like counties. So we need much more anti-air systems for that, at least for each major city. Jane, is your mouth healed? Yesterday I had another surgery, and tomorrow I will have one, and in Sunday, and every time I return home from my dentist, I feel that my life is full of misery and pain. What are your thoughts on the unknown soul? Я думаю, що у рай не пустять, проте у пеклі, я твердо знаю, є унсо. Are you familiar with the Telegraph Ukraine, the latest podcast? No, I didn't see that, actually. But thank you so much, Tomasz. I will check it out. A fighter of the Russian Volunteer Corps confirmed to that the RDK entered the territory of the Bryansk region. Could be. Again, if those guys are fighting against Putin's regime, we should support them, in my opinion. Special dental operation. Yeah, it feels like forever, trust me. Were the rail spans removed from the Kerch Bridge? Level 70, I think that they will be replaced very, very soon. What was in the Donbass water that messed up your teeth so bad? Panama Floyd. It was like this. We were, for example, in Krasnohorivka, okay? And there was this well with water, right? And it tasted like the water tasted like borscht, but not in the good way, because borscht tastes well, and that water tasted like borscht because of all kinds of stuff that was in this water, and it was impossible to get rid of that. And water in Donbass is like a big problem because they have a lot of underground minerals and salts and things like that. So yeah, sometimes people who spent years in Donbass, they have problems with teeth. Telegraph Ukraine. I think I saw one of their podcasts, but not the recent one. It's currently it's very hard to follow all the news because there's so much stuff happening in my life right now. Hey Starsky, are you coming to the Crimean Breach party to watch the collapse of Russia? Definitely. Absolutely. I was dreaming about it, and actually I have a flag given to me by Crimean Tatars, and I promised that I will bring this flag to Crimea when it's liberated. Kirk Peterson, I wonder what the Donbass water did to your stomach. Nothing really, trust me, because I'm drinking Coca-Cola since I was like 6 years old, and I'm still alive. I'm bald, though, but I'm alive. Do you think that the Lupi Luco will appear at the Hague? I think we must do everything we can to bring him to Hague, because it will be like I will be watching those podcasts from Hague, and have tea and coffee and sushi and celebrate, but there's still a lot of stuff we have to finish. Is your string straight because you are captain now? Samo, you know the secret, and I have to... I'm just kidding. You know the secret. The Coca-Cola company might kidnap you for the research. Yeah. They can do that. I wish they at least sponsored some of my videos, but I have no hope anymore. How will Ukraine deal with the Black Sea Fleet? Black Sea Fleet is a huge threat in terms of liberating Crimea, because in order to liberate Crimea, we have to deal with Russian vessels, with Russian troop carriers, with their missile carriers as well. So because I'm not a general, I cannot answer this question in details, but in case we are close enough to be able to take Crimea, we will be able to use our anti-ship missiles as well. Robert, do the Tatars say anything about being an independent region? Tatars generally support Ukraine and fight in the Ukrainian battalions and armed forces. Uh, we are like different nations, but same people. Like in the United States. And we are allies and we care about each other. So I don't remember them saying something like that. Andrew, what's your favorite Coca-Cola flavor? It's Coca-Cola. Drink milk. Peter, actually, I found this very cool recipe for the tea. So, uh, green tea with mint. You add plenty of milk into this tea, and of course, I drink a lot of tea with plenty of sugar because I cannot drink stuff without sugar. Uh, but you gotta try it. Like green tea with mint and milk. It tastes amazing. UFOs messing the signal. Yeah, I think it's because Elon Musk is an alien himself. What happened to Steven Seagal? He is insane. He lost his mind. Does your job change now that you are a captain? Actually, no, um, because I was doing the same stuff, and the position of the officer, no, position of the chief press officer of the brigade is the position of a captain, right? You cannot go higher than captain. You cannot, or can you? Yes, you can. You can be promoted to a major on my position. Yeah, but that's all you can have. You cannot be higher than a major as a press officer. Pay rise. There will be some pay rise, but it's not like it's not the main thing because it's not something uh, outstanding, let's say. Okay. Oh, LSA here. LSA in the house. Shardy Charlie. Hello, hello. You have people under you now. If you're talking about subordinates, yes, I have Max, and he's not only my good buddy and uh, drinking pal, but he's also my subordinate. Do you know something about Serbia selling rocket ammunition to Ukraine? I've heard about it, but I cannot confirm this. So where Anna from Ukraine is in Kiev. John, yes, she is somewhere around here. If lucky, we'll make a selfie together. How is life for people who are far from the front line? It's like this. Uh, for 8 years, we had the same like almost the same situation, because for 8 years we only had war somewhere like on the east, like hundreds of kilometers away, and people lived normally. They didn't feel uh, living in a wartime country, which I think was one of our biggest achievements as militaries. Uh, Currently, situation is a bit different, so there is a risk of missile strikes, and whenever we have that air alert, it means that the roulette is spinning, and when the missile hits its target, probably people will die. So it's like, this feeling when the missiles are flying, and you cannot avoid thinking, like, on the end of its route there's death, somebody will die, uh, and everybody thinks, hopefully it will not be me, and then some of those people die. um, so it looks like this, but generally people have electricity and heating. And oh my god, I wanted to show you this, but I lost the screenshots. So I made a collection of screenshots from the Russian media that were it was like back from autumn and winter, that were screaming, Ukraine will freeze, everybody will die, and they were celebrating and stuff. And just to remind you guys what we're dealing with. How is Skipper? I've heard that he's fine. That's what I've heard. When you talk about air defense, are captured Panzer systems any good? Uh, they are not perfect. They are, of course, they are PR tools, rather propaganda tools, because if Russians talk about Panzer systems, it means that those systems are using alien technologies. They are orthodox anti-air systems. That's why those missiles are guided by the God himself, and they can fly around Earth 3 times and then fly to Mars. But generally, realistically speaking, right? We mastered those systems, and we added them to the overall anti-air defense in Ukraine, and we're using those as well. The missiles for those systems, that could be the problem. How can people outside of Russia identify the signs of Russian propagandists? So, commentator, it's very, very easy. When you see their lips moving on a TV, on a Russian TV, or when they hold like a microphone, and like as soon as you see their lips moving, okay, that's the sign. That's the sign. Inner dinosaurs, thank you so much. Скажи паляниця. Паляниця. So that friend of mine from Australia, our SAS specialist and kick-ass ninja that fought in, I think near Kherson. So I told you about him. So I taught him how to say Palyanica, and even though he was Aussie, he was able to say it perfectly. And Russians still cannot pronounce it for some reason. Hammer 225, hello Captain, hello. So it's not like the salary is getting increased. It's not the main thing. Together with the rank of captain, you usually receive a call sign obvious. So you become Captain Obvious, and you have to say obvious things. Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Team Farrell, do you still have Russian friends? Is it possible? I have several Russian friends. One of them lives in Ukraine. She moved here in like 2016. Then I have several friends from like Eastern Russia, places like Vladivostok. There was a friend of mine. We didn't talk much. We were following each other on Facebook, and as soon as this invasion started, he said, Russia is hopeless. I hope it collapses. And I said, let's drink for that. Generally, like how to recognize normal Russian person, okay? It's very easy. When they start speaking, they say things like, we're sorry for what Russia is doing to Ukraine and the rest of the world. It should stop, and Putin is a criminal. They never go like, you shouldn't judge all Russians because you never saw our situation and we are very different, and things like as soon as they start justifying themselves and search for excuses and things like that, like it's not even worth talking. Just forget about them. But those people who say, yes, we screwed up, sorry, we have to change something, those are worth speaking with, and of course those guys that fight against Russian invaders in the Russian voluntary battalions, those are great guys. Do you still do the shorts? Kirk, I wish I had some time to do them. Oh, V says, as a Croat, I have no problem saying Palyanica. Obviously, the Croatian language is more similar to Ukrainian than to Russian. Could be. I never thought about it. Palyanica. Thomas, I have a philosophical question. If a Russian speaks propaganda alone in the woods without anyone there to hear it, does it exist? From the existential point of view, it does, because it's still heard by one person, and to this person, the world is rotating around this person. So basically, yeah. Biolabs weaponized pigeons, that was genius. It really was, because check out how many people believe in this. Have you had a McDonald's yet? Yes, Thomas, I did. And recently I had a couple of cheeseburgers. It was exactly the day when the day after I had my tooth removed. It was hilarious. Do you get a ceremony for your promotion? Not really. I had no ceremony last year, and this year I will not have it as well, because it's not the proper time. Girkin can disappear any day. Not only Girkin. I think that Prigozhin has chance to disappear. He has a chance to meet his window of doom. As a Canadian trying to learn Ukrainian, I can assure you there are zero language similarities, and it's near impossible to learn. Brandy, my respect for taking this challenge of learning Ukrainian language, because it's hard, it's challenging, and it's exciting at the same time, because you will have to learn all the genders for all the objects in the universe. You will at least try to understand why Kiev is a boy and Odessa is a girl, okay, and why we have 7 cases. But it's really cool. Window of opportunity. Yeah, I love it. Who will push Putin out of a window? Commentator, there's no windows in a bunker, unfortunately. Daughter of Texas, I hate McDonald's. They taste really bad to me. All I can say is that you should try KFC, probably. Because usually people who don't like McDonald's, they find what they're looking for in KFC. Why do Ukraine not go after Russian leadership like they tried to go after Zelensky? You mean like make Putin disappear? If it was easy, I think we could try. But again, Russians sent a whole battalion of Kadyrovites to assassinate Zelensky. And those Kadyrovites got toasted in Bucha. On the other hand, though, I don't consider Kadyrovites like good assassins. You know, they're not even good TikTokers, actually. However, those TikToks where they die, like, you know, whenever they like shell exploding or something like that, those are my favorite ones. Absolutely, they're very, very popular here in Ukraine. Did Ukraine really use recently developed Vilha M rockets? From what I know, we did. Do you think genders are the same in French or Ukrainian? Do you mean like genders for objects? Is it the case for French? Because I have no idea. I can't wait until we all get a Star Trek Universal Translator. astral, I think that it may happen because actually a lot of things that were shown in Star Trek, actually they were brought to life in the real world. For example, like operating systems and things like that. So we can probably see them in the real life. Daughter of Texas, I don't like KFC either. I don't know what to say. Try sushi. Sushi good. Uh, will the Russians be able to stage a new, harder hitting offensive in eastern Ukraine in spring? Not really, because again, aside of the fact that they will bring a shitload of cannon fodder, but this cannon fodder must have at least some kind of support from their tanks and armored vehicles. It doesn't work this way. They cannot just march to the front lines in thousands and die there, because they need to bring them there in the first place. And we have burned down a lot of their vehicles as of today. Politkovskaya and Nemtsov. I respected those people actually. They were good. The grammatical genders are not the same in French and Ukrainian. I think so, because again, it's like different languages. They're not supposed to have same genders for objects and stuff. Weapons loader, with your increase in rank, your belay has changed and additional duties, still able to go and do real work, not paperwork. I do paperwork as well. Despite, I hate it so much, but what do you think of the Free Russian Legion? It's called Freedom to Russia, and basically they are fighting against Russian invaders on the territory of Ukraine, together with Ukrainian armed forces, shoulder to shoulder. There are volunteers. Also, there are some prisoners who volunteered to fight in this legion, as far as I remember. Oh yeah, and Marler says Star Trek had the first cell phones in the original series. Absolutely. There is a whole list of inventions that were first shown in the Star Trek. How can a chair be a female or male? Chair in Ukrainian is it. Крісло, it's it. However, if you're talking about like kitchen chair, taburetka, it's a girl. Taburet, it's a boy. Stool, it's a boy as well. So it can be both. It can have like 3 genders. Chair is female in Lithuanian. ink boy. It's usually it's like it. It's a third gender in Ukrainian language. A chair can identify itself as whatever he wants. Yeah. Chair in German is male. Der Stuhl. Yeah, same thing in Croatian. What ends with A is female gender. With O, it's it. Fucha ends with A, but he's still a boy because Fucha is his whole name is Fucha. Are ships female in Ukrainian? Korabel is a male, is a boy. They are boys. And actually, this habit, for example, of calling airplanes and ships in English, like she, it's different in Ukrainian because ships and airplanes in Ukrainian, they are boys as well. Tim Farrell, would you object to your image being used on a t-shirt if the money goes to help Ukrainians? If they go to help Ukrainians, I don't mind, but I don't understand this. There are people much more worthy to be on your t-shirt, trust me. So it sounds like the Ukrainian grammatical genders were kind of similar to German. There are German words that migrated to Ukrainian language, like stool. And got improved because stool turned into stilets. Yeah, stool is... they have stool in Russian language. In Ukrainian, it's stilets, but it has the same root, basically, as der stool. So I think that's the reason. Any new Putin jokes? Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but Putin teleported, traveled in the time to the future, and like he finds himself in Moscow, and he can see that, like, a lot of cheering people and happy people, smiling faces on the streets. That's why he's like, oh, like Russia progress and shit. So he walks into a bar and he orders a beer, and he asks bartender, like, how's things? Is Crimea ours? And the bartender is like, yeah, Crimea is ours. And how about Kiev? Kiev is ours as well. And the bartender is like, yeah, Kiev is ours. He's like, oh, and Lvov is also ours. The bartender is like, yeah, it's ours. And Putin is like, okay, we can celebrate it, and he drinks, and then he's like, how much is the beer? And the bartender is like, it's 5 Ukrainian hryvnias. Der Stuhl. Hmm. Yeah, ships are feminine in English. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like for some reason, like in English, when you talk about an airplane or a ship, it's she usually. In Ukrainian, yeah, a lot of people like the joke. In Ukrainian, it's usually he. Like they're boys. However, Maria as Maria, the dream, it's a girl. However, the Maria as an airplane, it's a boy. But the word Maria, the dream is a girl. The word dream is feminine in Ukrainian. Does Ukraine have a submarine? We had a submarine uh, that was basically taken by Russians in 2014. It was a diesel submarine, and it was taken by Russians as well as a bunch of other ships. Ships and cars are female as slang. So cars are actually boys in Ukrainian language because they're girls as well. They're feminine. They're avtivka or mashina. They're girls, females. Sorry. Dream also male in German. It's female in Ukrainian. The dream, Mria. And by the way, regarding Mria, guys, this add-on or the add-on for the Microsoft Simulator, my God, Microsoft Flight Simulator, it was published a couple of days ago, and there was like tons of reviews around the internet. They made a realistic cockpit, and I remember that I talked to the press officer of Antonov, and she told me that Dmitro Antonov, when this InniBuild developer, when they were making this add-on, Dmitro Antonov couldn't understand like how can a single player play this like pilot this add-on in the flight simulator, because you have to have a crew of 6 to fly this airplane. So they made something more simple, not as sophisticated, but still it's a very nice add-on. I saw it, and all the money for buying this add-on will go for rebuilding or for a memorial for Maria. But I hope that we will see her flying anyways. Ships are female because she protects her men who sail abroad her. Oh, I didn't know about it. But at the same time, back in the days, superstitious sailors had this superstition, basically, that a female on board of a ship like bring disasters or something like that. Even despite the fact that a lot of females sailed and ruled, commanded ships back in those days. Ian, I hope which is okay. Yes, she's okay. I saw her recent update yesterday, I think. She's fine. Okay, guys. I think it's a good time to. Maybe the ship was jealous. Who knows? I think it's a good time to go and finish my tasks. I will not be sleeping tonight. So yeah, we had this small family stream tonight, and as always, I was very, very happy to see you. Did you celebrate 150? I did. I had sushi today, specifically because of this. Alrighty, dear friends, see you later. Hopefully tomorrow. And tomorrow we have a Friday. Tomorrow I will be streaming with the In Time, and my advice is to subscribe to the In Time. Nick, Commander Macmillan, they do great analysis, and actually they were among the first people who actually predicted the invasion. So thank you so much for being with me tonight. See you in the next one. My name is Operator Starsky. As always, thanks for watching.